there, retro gamers, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Game Overcast. My name is David KAELIN, and I am the Game Over CEO, here with you once again for your week in retro games, to go through all the current events and stuff going on at the stores, and just other exciting things that I want to share with you in our podcast. So thank you for joining us. We also have a new segment today. Not even Dan knows about this one yet. But for our feature segment, we're going to do a Meet the Managers segment and meet one of the Game Over managers. So we're going to slowly make our way around to all the Game Over employees, I'm sure, on this show. But the first one is coming up today. Plus, we've got part 2 of the boss battle with the Catalytic converter on the Game Over van that got yanked a couple weeks ago, and then we almost got robbed again by the dealer trying to fix it. So I've got some updates on that, and let's see. That's pretty much it. But it's an action-packed show. Actually, it's not action-packed because I'm just going to sit here. But it's
come punch you.
It's substance-packed. Substance-packed. Action light, substance-packed. That's what it is. So anyway, let's get it started. Let's go to current events, level 1. Let's go. And we're back with level 1, current events. So what's happening in the world of gaming these days? What's been going on the last week? There's actually quite a bit of news. First big news was last week was the Super Bowl. So I hope you all got to watch that game. Although based on one of our previous shows when I was telling you who was going to be in the Super Bowl, and I said at the time it was the Cincinnati Bengals and the San Francisco 49ers, and I got no comments. Nobody corrected me. But apparently I was totally wrong, and it was the Rams and the Bengals. Those are the two teams. The Rams beat the 49ers. So this just in the playoff championship game right before the Super Bowl, it was actually the Rams that won. Sorry. But clearly none of you care because nobody commented on the fact that I didn't know who the right two teams were. But anyway, they played. It was a good game. I think a lot of people watched it. The biggest thing for me was the halftime show. And so that was like I guess maybe since Michael Jackson, or I don't know. I can't think of like the last like big halftime show that I was really excited about on the Super Bowl. But I was excited about this one, and I was really hyped going into it, and it delivered. I thought it was really good. I listened to Dr. Dre and Snoop and Eminem back in the day, and man, I was so excited and hoping that it was going to be good, and I did think it was good. I thought the set was great, looking like the club with the different rooms and the cars lined up out front. I was like, there's got to be some like old 64 Impalas out there, and I thought they'd be like bouncing around and everything, but they were just kind of sitting there. But that's okay. But yeah, it was really cool, and so I got to reminisce about some of that old music that I used to listen to all the time. And at the end, I'm like, man, when is this coming to my town? Like, when is this concert coming around, this tour? So we definitely need the 90s, hip hop, tour coming around. So please consider that if any of you watch this show, which I'm sure you do. But anyway, it would be nice. So that was fun. Normally the big thing for me about the Super Bowl is the commercials, because I'm a marketing nerd, a business nerd. And so I love to see what the most expensive, most seen commercials for the entire year on the entire planet, what people do with that time slot and that amount of money to spend. And in that front, I was pretty underwhelmed at the Super Bowl. Like, they had good commercials, but not great commercials. There were only a few that I kind of liked more than others, like the Schwarzenegger as Zeus, and Salma Hayek. That was pretty cool. And I always loved Dr. Evil, Austin Powers. But yeah, there weren't a lot of really, I don't know, like great ones other than that. So I don't know. It's supposed to be about, at its peak, I think it was about $7 million per commercial. So I don't know if they had money well spent or not. I know it was like every other commercial seemed to be for some kind of cryptocurrency or something. So I guess those guys are making some money, but I don't know. Anyway, most of the rest didn't really do much for me, but loved the halftime show, and it was a good game too. You don't want to have the Super Bowl and then have one team win like 50-0. So it was close. It was like 23-20. So I mean, either team could have won, with about 5 minutes to go in the game. So it was close, and that's what you want. You want two teams that are neck and neck, and they both deserve to be there. And it was just just less than one touchdown between them. So good game. In other gaming news, Coleco had a classic bowling like handheld machine from 1981 that somehow made its way into the Disney Plus series, The Book of Boba Fett. So I don't know if you guys are watching that, but apparently, and at the time I couldn't tell what it was, but I was like, that looks like an old video game something. But apparently it was on Kotaku, and Mike Micah on Twitter reported this, and some other people were saying like, yeah, that's an actual, like it wasn't a prop or a made up for Boba Fett, prop. It was a actual video game icon from the early 80s that was this like plastic little handheld bowling machine that was there at the end when he was writing. So they were using it as a tablet, just pretending that they were writing Boba Fett's demands on there to show the Pike warlords or whatever. There's terms of surrender, which of course were like go to hell or something. And but they used this machine, from 1981 to do that. So I thought that was pretty funny, and it's cool that some eagle-eyed viewers spotted like that's an actual video game icon from history that they used in that show. So kudos, Disney Plus, way to go. Let's see. In other news, Nintendo is closing up the eShop for the Wii U and 3DS.
No.
I know. Sorry, Dan. Dan is very upset about this, and he assures me that the prices on those two systems and their games will now be going up, which is probably true. Yeah. I mean, the 3DS games.
Where can they buy them, David?
Well, you can go to your local Game Over Video Game store, I'm sure, and find some great selections for those. Plus, online at GameOverVideogames.com. But seriously, I mean the 3DS was so mainstream. There's hundreds of titles. I think they might have hit 1,000, but tons of titles. And obviously, like 50 million versions of the console because they released a new one about every 10 days. They had some kind of special edition of something. So there's a lot of that supply-wise. The Wii U, not so much, though. I mean, the Wii U has a very small game library. It had a very small user base, very small sales numbers. So I definitely expect that one to be highly collectible over the years. Along the lines of GameCube, but even more so because GameCube was not. It was number 3 in the console wars at that time, and they didn't sell as much, but the Wii U sold way less than even the GameCube. And
GameCube was 22 million.
Okay, Dan says 22 million on
Wii
GameCube.
U was about 14, I think.
Wii U 14, yeah. So less than that, but it's going to be one of those things where it's like
14.
Okay, less than 14. But it's going to be something like Virtual Boy or one of those really iconic systems that a lot of people don't have. And so, yes, Wii U stuff I expect to go up quite a bit. But 3DS, even though there's a huge supply, it's so popular and so it was so mainstream that everybody had it. Everybody's going to want to have it again, and so that stuff's going to go up too. So, such is life, I guess, in retro games. Once they officially cut off the umbilical cord, cut off life support, that's when things start rising up. So it's going to join the retail price rising party. So come on in, the water's fine. Let's see. So, but they're not closing it like today. They're just, shutting down the ability to add funds in another couple of months, and then next year in March 2023 is when they're officially shutting it down. So there's just nothing you'll be able to buy or download or anything from that. It'll be just gone. So sad day for that. But Nintendo now has basically all their eggs in the Nintendo Switch basket. Everything else is done. It's all about the Switch now. Okay, in more retro gaming news, also this is current because this involves the Nintendo Switch, but in the last Nintendo Direct that came out, they announced we're getting Earthbound. So in the Nintendo Switch Online, they're going to have 2 Earthbound games. They're going to have the one that came here that we know as Earthbound, which was really a Mother 2, and then they're going to have a second one called Earthbound Beginnings, which was Mother 1 in Japan. So that one never came here.
It was on the Wii U, actually.
Was it on the Wii U?
Yeah.
Like a download?
Good thing they're closing that shop.
Yeah.
So they can sell it on the Switch.
Can't get it anymore. But anyway, you'll be able to get those on the Switch. So that's cool. And they had some other announcements, Chrono Cross and some other cool games. And, those Nintendo Directs are always really fun. They have, good announcements at every one. There's always some cool stuff coming. I mean, the Switch is so mainstream and so popular that they're adding stuff to it literally, every month. It's an amazing console. So that's where Nintendo gets their money from now. In another retro news, Atari is seeking the creator of a game called Aqua Venture. It's a rare prototype type game that came out in the 90s, I believe. They found some prototype cards for it, and then it made it onto one of the flashback systems. And they're going to be releasing it on, I think, an actual cartridge for 2600. Like Atari has started now producing carts again, just kind of like, homebrews and stuff like that they're going to officially do through the Atari name, through their software company, Atari XP is what it's called. But yeah, they're going to put the cartridge out, and they want to give props to the original creator, but they don't know who it is. So if you or someone either created that game or knows someone who does or who did, let Atari know, because they don't know who made their own game. So anyway, it's just been a long time, I guess. But that's cool that there's some new Atari games coming out. And that's basically it on the news front. So now let's go into level 2 and talk about company events and see what's going on at your local Game Over video game store. And we're back with level 2, company events. What's going on at your local Game Over video game store these days? Well, sales, of course. We've got sales all the time. So right now, let's see, we've got a big sale coming up that's probably going on right now as you're watching this show. It's a buy 2, get 1 free sale. It's all used games, $19.99 and less. So the really expensive rare stuff doesn't count, sorry. But the majority of used games are going to be $19.99 or less. And so we have tons of those in our stores. And basically it's buy 2, get 1 free. And as we talked about last week, that means the cheapest one is free. You don't get to pick which one is free. It's just the cheapest one is free. So that way it's objective for everyone. But yeah, so buy 2, get 1 free. That is from February 18th through February 24th. So that's a 1-week sale. So definitely take advantage of that. And it's only in our retail stores. That one's not available online. We do actually have a separate sale on the website at GameOverVideogames.com going on now. That's February 18th through February 28th. So from now through the end of the month. And that one is 10% off everything with the code WINTERSALE. So if you type in Winter Sale, WINTERSALE, just all together, Winter Sale, you get 10% off. So come check out our website. If you haven't bought anything there in the past or haven't even gone to our website, newsflash, we have a website. Check it out. A lot of times, if you don't find what you're looking for at your local Game Over video game store, or if you're not, fortunate enough to live in a city or state where there are Game Over video game stores or retro stores of any kind for that matter, then definitely check it out. Because we buy and sell everything on the website, just like we do in our stores. There's always, games and systems that are on the website that are not available in the stores, and vice versa. And so it's an additional place to check for those games you might be looking for. And then we do trades that way too. So if you don't live near a store, but you still want to unload some of your old games, your duplicates, stuff like that, you can actually use our website to do that. A lot of people don't really know, but that's something you can always do. You just go to the website, you click on Sell at the top, and it'll let you, put in the different titles or systems that you have, put in all the details. You select the games, and then it emails you an estimate, payout for it. And you can pick if you want a check in the mail, or if you want PayPal, or however you want to get paid for that stuff. And then you just ship it in to us, and as soon as we get it, we process your payment. So it's pretty easy, really. But yeah, that's always an option if you want to sell us stuff and you don't live near a store. But yeah, you can always check that out online. So in other sale news, the sale after that, the sale that's coming up later in the month, is 25% off on retro game controllers. So basically that's anything that's not a PS4, PS5, or Xbox One, or Xbox Series X or S, or Switch. So if it's a console that hasn't come out in the past 5 to 10 years or whatever, we're considering all of that retro, anything before that. So from PS3 on back. All those controllers, 25% off with coupon. How do you get the coupon? You have to be on our email list. And you can do that in our stores. You can sign up on the website at GameOverVideogames.com. Or you just come into the retail stores, and when you're making a purchase, or even without making a purchase, you can just let us know you want to sign up, and we'll take your name and your email address, and that's it. It doesn't cost you any money or anything like that. We just put you on the list. We don't sell it to outside parties, so you just get emails from us. So it'll just be stuff about Game Over or our event, Classic Game Fest, but that's pretty much it. And then you'll get a coupon for that sale. So that's coming up. Let's see. Also, we are doing a trade-in bounty this month. We do those most of the time every month, and this month it's Nintendo 64 games that we're looking for. So it's a little different this month because every Game Over video game store has different N64 titles they're looking for. So if you go into our stores right now, they have normally like a board. There's a like a chalkboard or a dry erase board, and they put their trade bounty items on there. So there should be a list of Nintendo 64 games that each store is looking for the most based on their inventory needs and what their customer requests are and stuff like that. And they're paying extra for those titles. So definitely check out your local store if you have some extra Nintendo 64 games you want to unload, and we'd love to buy them from you. So that's going on through February 28th till the end of the month. And that's it for sales. Then in terms of events, we have our Super Retro Challenge, monthly retro gaming tournaments coming up. We do those every month in certain stores, and the next one is going to be on Saturday, March the 12th. So that's right around the corner. And normally we do 5 different stores, but there's not going to be one in the Selma store this month. So for March, it'll only be the Bellevue, Washington, the South Austin, and the Arlington, Texas, and the Houston 1960 locations that'll be doing the tournaments. So definitely check out those store Facebook pages to see what the game is, what time you have to get there and sign up and stuff like that. But it is totally free to compete, and you can win prizes, meet friends, have fun, something to do on a Saturday night. So yeah, definitely check it out. In other Game Over news, I mentioned this earlier in the show too. We did the whole store move in Houston recently, and I got to show a lot of that on this show, which is great. And we're doing it again. So we're doing that in Washington in the next couple weeks. And so we're actually going up there. TN is going with me, and we're gonna, the two of us and the crew in the Tacoma Mall. We're going to be moving that store. It's in a mall, an interior mall. And it's just moving from one spot to the other. Stores in the mall move from time to time. It's just one of those things. But in this case, we're actually moving from kind of a side hallway to a main hallway, and from a small store to a larger store. So in a lot of ways, this is a really big deal, for us. It's not just moving from here to here. It's actually like a big upgrade for us. So we're excited to be, in a really prime position in this mall. We'll get a lot more foot traffic, and it's kind of a different layout, than most of our stores. So we'll get to kind of experiment with a somewhat different look to Game Over. But yeah, it'll be really fun. And so we'll be up there starting next week to get the process started, and then over the next week or two get that finished up. And so by March the 1st, that store should be up and running. So you can go check it out if you live in the Washington area. Yeah, it's one of those things that it's a lot of hard work, but I really enjoy it, even though we work a lot of 15, 16, 17-hour days to make it happen. It's a lot of fun, and I'm always motivated seeing the kind of the empty store and then building it out and turning it into something that looks cool, that's appealing to all retro gamers. And so especially in this mall type setting, we don't have a whole lot of stores inside malls. And the fact that this one's a little different style, it's going to give us kind of a whole unique look that we haven't had before. So I'm excited about the merchandising potential of this new spot. So I'm going to get in there and make it beautiful in the next couple weeks. So we'll try and document stuff too while we're there, so we can show you, anybody who doesn't live in Washington, so you can see what that store looks like. Maybe show the old store and then the new store and some of the move, elements and things like that, like we did for Houston. So that'll be coming up soon on future episodes of this show. So stay tuned. And also, if you do live in the area and you want to come out to meet me or meet Tian, we'll both be there the weekend of February 26th to 27th. So we'll be in Tacoma Mall at the new Game Over location, probably tired and dirty and exhausted. But if you want to meet us, hey, we'd love to meet you too. Come by and say hi. Say, hey, I see that podcast every once in a while online, and we'll say thank you. But yeah, so come check it out. You can even meet us, and that will be at the end of the month. Here, okay, well, I'll just do it like this. I have to do it like news anchor style, where yeah. And in the news, yeah. Isn't it good that we just talk about video game stuff and small business stuff, and we don't worry about actual global news, because there's some crazy global news too. So
what?
I don't want to get into that. Dan's asking me what it is. No. Well, see, there's troops right now massed on the border of Ukraine, but no. We don't want to go there. We don't want to go there. I'm sure it'll all end peacefully. I'm sure we're fine. There's not a 0% chance. There's a
Very low.
There's a pretty low chance of nuclear Armageddon. It's pretty low.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyway, let's move on to something else more cheery. CGF. Everybody loves Classic Game Fest, right? It's the biggest retro gaming event in Texas. So it is coming up. It's very soon, actually. It's, 4 or 5 months away? It's coming up in July. It's in July every year in Austin, Texas. Draws vendors and attendees from all over Texas and even beyond. We get people from all over the country coming to this thing. It's massive. We're up to over 70 different vendors already booked and paid for the show. We're going to start. We've started now finally updating the website. So I'm sorry that's taken so long, but we've taken down now. I think all of the 2021 show stuff. And so we'll now start putting in there the new guest announcements, band announcements, new schedule. We have the costume contest timing already in there, but we'll be adding to that over the next few weeks as we make these announcements. So you can check that out and also follow Classic Game Fest online, all the social media. There's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those things that have, plus our website, classicgamefest.com, that has, all the info on it. And over these next few months is when most of the big news is going to be made for that. So definitely keep your eyes and ears out for updates on that. And that is it. So that is all of the Game Over and Classic Game Fest related news. And now we're going to go on to the feature segment. And in this show, it's the first of what I hope to be many interviews with other Game Over employees. I know you've met me and Tian and Dan. And so now we're going to go to some of the people working in the stores and talk to some of the store managers. And today is an interview with David Cox, who is the store manager of the Houston Central store, the store that we just moved over last month. And so I got a chance to talk to him this week, and you'll be seeing that interview now. So let's move on to level 3 and the feature. Hey there, guys. We're here live at the Houston store, downtown Houston, where we did all that work the past couple of weeks. Getting it moved over to the new space. And this, with me today, is the new store manager, David Cox. And so we're going to talk to him and find out how he got into video games, how he likes the new store, and all that kind of stuff. So, David, thanks for joining us.
No problem. I'm glad to do it.
You're my first interview.
I know. It's an honor. It's an honor. Hopefully it's the first of many.
Yes.
Many interviews ago.
Yes, I definitely plan on trying to harass every store manager at least into doing it, and probably most of the other employees too.
That can be a goal for the year.
Yeah.
Every manager.
That's true. In 12 months, I'll try and get a manager every month.
Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, you can do that. But yeah, that's awesome, man.
So tell me, how long you've been with the company, and I know you started as a part-timer back in the day. What was it? 3 years ago?
So I started as a seasonal part-timer.
You were seasonal even? Oh, wow.
In 2017. So I got hired around Halloween 2017.
Okay.
And it was just supposed to be 2 or 3 months, just there for Black Friday. But the manager at the time, Shelby, actually left right after Christmas, so that opened up a spot for me to just stay,
Yeah.
And I just stayed as a part-timer. And I'm still here.
And so you stayed as a part-timer and then worked your way up to store manager?
Oh yeah, I became a key holder a couple years later, I think, just a regular key holder. And then about a year and a couple months ago, I got promoted to manager, which has been awesome. It's been one of the best things that's ever happened to me.
Aw.
It really is.
I did not pay him to say that.
It is. That's the truth.
Yeah. So you love the job. So how do you feel about all this stuff that we've been showing on the podcast lately, with the move and the old space and the new space, and what are your thoughts about the move in general? How's it been?
It's been pretty fun. It was a lot of hard work. Especially the few days when we were physically moving everything. But thankfully, David's been saying, it was only 300 feet away, so it's a lot better than having to move it across town. Or loading it up in a truck and unloading it off a truck. We just literally put everything on dollies and wheeled it on over 2 minutes down the sidewalk, and that was it. So could have been worse.
So for 2 days straight, every other tenant in the shopping center saw truckloads of video games being just pushed down the sidewalk from one space to the other. So it's pretty fun for them, I bet.
Yeah, one after the other. A couple of them actually came out of their door to ask us what we were doing. They're like, "What are you doing?" They didn't even know that we worked at Game Over. They just thought we were random guys pushing stuff back and forth.
We're very slow, very bad thieves. Yeah. We come midday and we just roll stuff right in front of everybody, right down the sidewalk.
Exactly. No masks. No nothing.
No speed or urgency. Just, hey, we're just pushing boxes of Xboxes down the sidewalk, like any normal person does.
Yeah. David actually moved a 300-pound cooling like soda machine down the sidewalk by himself. I thought he was going to get squished. I really did.
That's true.
But we made it work.
Yes. I was very proud of myself to be able to do that. I still, though, hate the fact that I scuffed up the floor in the new store. So when you come to the new Houston store and you check it out, look in front of the drink machine. You see all my little skid marks in front of the where I was like wiggling it into space, and it goes.
Yeah.
So I will forever feel bad about that, but I put my mark on your store. It's like in Harry Potter. There's like a like the lightning strike on his head. It's like
that's kind of what it looks like too.
Yeah, you have a little zigzag, and that's like the mark of David has been here.
Exactly. Hopefully it'll fill in with dust or something over the years.
I'm sure that won't take long.
Yeah, I don't think so. I do not think so.
Well, tell us about yourself. Like, what are your earliest memories of video games?
Ooh, man, there's a couple.
What was your first system?
My first system. The first thing I really remember playing, I believe, was a Dreamcast, actually.
Okay. I feel old.
Yeah. And even then, that was already, like, out for a couple of years by that time.
Yeah.
It was mostly hand-me-downs. I have two older sisters that are, like, 10, 15 years older than me, and they had an NES as a kid. And so that was kept in the closet, and then when I was, like, 6 years old or something, they busted it out of the closet. And I started playing Mario 3, like, every day.
Yeah.
And so now that's one of my favorite games of all time, and I know that game like the back of my hand because it's all I had. So
yeah, me too. That was one of my favorites too.
Yeah, I know all the warps, all that stuff. Yeah,
and there was a lot to learn in that game.
It is. It's compared to
the other Mario games had a couple warps and
Exactly.
stuff, but like that one had like the suits and the power-ups and the warps and the map and everything. Like it was so much bigger than the first two Mario games.
It blew them out of the water.
Yeah,
it was crazy. That was such a huge step in such a short period of time. But yeah,
giant leap for game kind.
Yeah. So I started off with the NES basically, and then I got a PlayStation 2 for my 8th birthday. I don't know if that makes you old. And then I played that obsessively for a few years. So that's most of my memories as a kid were from the PS2 era.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's what I play now. I play my PS2 more than I play the PS4 or any of the newer stuff. So
yeah, that's great. Well, PS2 has a huge library. There's a lot of games. They're still, for the most part, pretty cheap, like affordable. But some of them now
they're starting to go up there.
Over $100 range.
Yeah. The good thing is that most of the good games on PS2 or the common ones are pretty cheap. Like the Grand Theft Autos and things like that. Very cheap games, but it's starting to get up there.
For now.
Yeah, for now. We'll see.
Yeah, the retro market is moving into PS2 now, so that stuff has just started to go back up, and then like 360 and PS3 that used to be really, really cheap, that stuff now is starting to also move.
It's because of people my age, around the 25-year-old mark is when those systems start to go up because it's when you played as a kid and you get around 25 years old and you're making good money because you got a good job.
Yeah,
like I do. And now you can blow all your money on games. So,
there you go.
And the market goes up. So that's exactly what's happening.
All right. Well, cool. Well, what are your thoughts about the move overall? The store. Like, are you liking the new store? You feel comfortable in it now? And
yeah, I was definitely skeptical at first, but now that I'm here, it's starting to feel like home. Every day that goes by, I move something around a little bit that I, the way I want to have it. And I feel a little bit more comfortable, and it honestly, it does look a lot better. Like, it is so much more packed. We have the same amount of products as we did before we moved. We didn't get rid of anything. But it looks like we have more because it's all squished together, and it's super colorful. Like, it's just very attractive to look at. So I do like that a lot. Yeah, I do like that a lot. And it's a fresh store. The old store, I miss it, but it was a 10-year-old store.
It was a 10-year-old store, so
we moved out, and then a couple weeks later, I had to go back in to grab something after we were already out of there, and so. I guess I was nose blind to the store because when I stepped back in, it smelled like a thrift store, and I was just like, "Oh man, this smelled like a resale shop," So the customers here at the new location have told me that we smell like sawdust. It might be because in this space. It might be because of the new wood floor, or it might be because we're next to a wood shop. They cut wood, so we get a fresh aroma on a daily basis. So that's pretty nice.
Well, starting from scratch is always nice. I always like that.
Yeah.
Well, cool. So now that we're settled in, and your first systems, Dreamcast and NES. what are some other games that you like, or like what do you play the most now? You said PS2 still?
I mostly do play the PS2 now. I mostly play games I played as a kid, but sometimes I like to change it up and experiment and play some stuff I've never played before.
Yeah.
It helps, especially when you're talking to customers here at the store, because everybody, expects that you play everything.
You don't get to play every game.
Exactly, yeah. So it's fun to try out the, different stuff, so at least I can talk about it to people or recommend it to people, or, if someone's interested in it, I can, plug it a little bit,
Yeah.
So yeah. Other than that, I do play my PS4 sometimes. I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is probably my favorite game of all time now. So that game's just limitless. I don't know if you played that. Yeah.
No.
But we were talking about Mario 3 feeling huge. Like, that's what that feels like now, today. It's just endless.
Huh. That's a good comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't play hardly at all, just because of time, constraints and everything now. But,
yeah.
But when I do, I don't even own anything newer than a PS3.
Yeah. There's still plenty of Red Dead Redemption 1's on PS3, so...
That's true.
Yeah.
I can check that out.
Yeah, you really should, man.
All right. Well, let's see. What other types of games do you like? Like, just in general, like genre. What's your favorite type of game?
Racing games is usually the most surprising answer.
Yeah.
Because, again, working here at this kind of store, people expect me to play a lot of JRPGs,
yes.
Final Fantasy. Yeah, I got to be a hardcore JRPG fan, and I'm really not.
Yeah. Driving games are fun.
They're fun.
And they're really underrated.
Yeah, they are. It's kind of a hot take around here again, but I don't like turn-based stuff. It's too slow for me. I get bored pretty fast, and I think that's why I like racing games, because you're just always like as fast as you can go. There's always stuff flying around. You know what I mean? It just keeps your attention better.
Yeah.
So definitely racing games. Anywhere from Forza to Mario Kart, it doesn't really matter. I love playing it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Let's see here. What else can we talk about? How big is your collection at home right now?
Oof.
Like, are you a collector?
Oh yeah.
Or are you you have what you play?
Well, I know I'm a collector because I don't play half of the games that I buy.
Okay.
So that's a collector. But,
do you have things at your house out of boxes, or are they all like in tubs and boxes?
They're all in tubs and boxes, mostly.
Yeah,
but
or hoarder.
Yeah. I wish I had room to put them out somewhere on display, but I just do not have the room because there's too much.
You're waiting for the game room.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But even though they're in tubs and boxes, they're accessible. I can just rip open a tub and I'll just, what do I want to play today? Pick it out. If I had to guess, I probably have somewhere around 600 games, maybe.
Wow.
Somewhere around there, more or less.
That's pretty good.
The Game Boy stuff is what catches you, because it's like a shoebox, but in a shoebox you can fit 50 to 100 Game Boy games, so that's a big one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love my collection. I need to slow down a little bit, but now that I'm the manager and I'm here all day, every day, and the employee discount, it's so hard to not walk out of here with something at least once a week. Yeah, so I get paid well, and then it just goes right back to David, because I just buy a game from him, and it goes right back in his pocket.
That's our plan.
Just recycle it. Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, what would you say is your number one thing to do for fun that's not a video game? Just to get a look at David outside of Game Over life. What do you do besides work?
What do I do besides work and play games?
Work and play games. Besides those two, what are you most likely to be doing?
Watching YouTube. Still being at home.
Okay.
And every once in a while, I do like to go out, at night and have beverages and whatnot.
Yeah.
But,
okay. That's fine.
That's about it. Yeah. That's about it, though. YouTube or go out.
Okay. What do you watch on YouTube? Do you watch like game playthroughs and stuff, or non-game related content like movies and shows and podcasts and stuff?
It's a little bit of mix. Definitely some game related stuff. Not really playthroughs or walkthroughs or speedruns or anything like that. It'll just be like, the gaming historian, just like real nerdy, knowledgeable stuff. You know what I mean? Which again helps working here, because it gives me something to talk about with people. Yeah. But other than that, I like history. So I watch videos about like World War II, you know, and
that stuff's addictive. You
it
get started
is.
on that, and then
it's 3 hours later. It's just it's been covered so much. So yeah, World War II stuff, and then a lot of like ancient human history stuff, you know, like the Romans, you know, and stuff like that too. So I like history a lot.
Nice.
Like, again, working here, I'm working around history.
You work with history.
I just love it.
So, yeah.
I can't get around it.
All right. Well, I have one more question, or one more, I guess, question, which is, what would you like all of your coworkers, your Game Over customers and friends and family and anybody of our like 100 viewers of this show to know about you? Like, what kind of hidden detail about you would like nobody know but you want to share and give people insight into the true David?
Man, I don't know. You know, I don't keep a lot to myself. Once you get to know me and I get comfortable around you, I kind of overshare, so it's pretty easy to know a lot.
So everybody knows all your secrets already.
My coworkers do.
Okay.
But man, I don't know. I don't know if I have any hidden stuff, you know? I don't think there is.
It's okay if you don't.
I try to be open with people, you know? So I don't hide a lot.
Yeah.
So no, I don't really think there is.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, anything else that you want to say to the viewers of the podcast? Say what's up to the other store managers. Yeah. And the other employees that watch.
Yeah. Thanks for watching. We need every view we can get right now on the podcast. So
share and subscribe.
And subscribe.
That's what they say.
This podcast is better than the views that it gets now. So, you know, if you share it, I'm sure more people will catch on and watch it, you know. Because this is a pretty unique perspective, because there's so many YouTubers that cover retro games and talk about retro games, but there's a small, tiny fraction of them is our perspective, you know, of what it's like to be behind the counter of a store. Because it gets a bad rap from people because they don't understand. So if you watch this show and you listen to David, you'll definitely get a better idea of what it's like and why we do things the way we do things, you know? Because you're not going to know unless somebody tells you or you work here in the store yourself. So, interesting perspective on a very common hobby.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And it's an interesting time to work in retail, right? Because we've been through the pandemic, and you know, people are still, you know, somewhat hesitant to come out sometimes, and you know, customer service has all of its ups and downs. You know, some customers love us, and then you have some people complain about really bizarre things. And, but yeah, it's fun overall, right? Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome. That's why I'm here. I love this job. Yeah. I've had a few jobs. You know, before I would kind of like work at one job a year almost kind of thing. So I had a few jobs already by the time I started working here. Yeah. And this was definitely feels like home now. I mean, you know, just the environment is so much more cozy than working for like a big corporation when you have 15, 30 coworkers, you know, and you don't really know everybody. But when you work here, it's like I have 4 coworkers. Yeah. And we know each other so well.
You get to know each other very well.
Yeah. So, I don't know. It's just comfortable, you know? It's like it definitely feels more of a family type of thing than any other job I've had, for sure. I love it.
Well, cool. Yeah. Well, we're glad to have you here.
Yes.
So thank you for being on the show. And, we look forward to seeing you in future episodes.
Yeah, no doubt.
Come down to Houston. And you should definitely check out this store. It's 3257 Southwest Freeway, right in downtown Houston. Brand new, still smells kind of like new.
Yeah.
You can smell the paint, smell the flooring.
Definitely.
And it's very clean and organized. This guy runs a really tip-top store.
Thank you.
So come check it out.
Yeah,
so
thank you.
Thank you for being on the show, David.
Yeah, no
David
problem.
and David, the double David here.
There we go.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for watching.
And we're back with level 4, the boss battle. Today, the boss battle is going to be kind of a continuation of the previous boss battle on the catalytic converter theft. So I wanted to give you some updates on that, and it's very, very interesting. So I think you'll enjoy this. So in the last show, I mentioned that we had one of our vans had the catalytic converter stolen. Apparently, that's a big thing now that people steal those, and they're worth money. And apparently, they are, because they cost a lot to replace. But we had taken it to the dealer because we're dumb. And we had some recall notices, and we were like, well, we'll just let them do the recalls, and we'll have them fix the catalytic converter too. I know dealers can be a little more expensive than maybe your local mechanic, but it was a big job, and it was a big
I don't know. I just felt like, maybe, I don't know who else does that. So we took it there, found out it was going to be like $4,000. And we thought, wow, man, this van has like almost 200,000 miles on it. Like, I can't imagine it's worth much more than $4,000. But so anyway, so this is what happened next. Because I think when we left it, it was just more the shock of like, wow, $4,000, that's a lot of money. And so we said, okay, we're going to have to think about that. We're going to, we're going to shop around. We're going to give that some thought because, I can't just drop that kind of money without, thinking about it. And so we did. So that was a Monday. And so what we decided to do is, we checked around and ended up taking it to a local place. Actually, it's a chain, I guess. NTB, National Tire and Battery, which you wouldn't really expect to be catalytic converters too, but they do pretty much everything there. It's just we get oil changes there. And, it's tire and battery. We've gotten tires and we've gotten batteries there too. But I just never would have thought to do like a big job, this size there too. But apparently they do everything. So, but we called them, talked to them about the situation, and, started talking, how much it would cost to do it there. Sounded like it would be significantly cheaper. So he was saying like maybe, $1,600, something like that, which is less than half of what the dealer was quoting. And so, and it's closer to our work. So we can actually, it's like just, we can walk literally over there to pick it up or whatever. So should have gone there first, that's on us. But so we went by the dealer, 3 days later. So we dropped it off Monday, went by on like Thursday to pick it up. So this is how things went at the dealer. So we go in and, we say, yeah, hi, we're here for that Game Over van. We decided we're not going to do the work here after all. So we just wanted to pick it up and we're going to go, get someone else to do it. We found a, better price or whatever. Then the guy asked me if I had an appointment. And I was like, an appointment? For what? Like, I'm just picking it up. Like, I have to make an appointment to pick it up? And he said, yeah, you do. Dan's looking at me weird. Yes, that's what I had that same face with him.
Car dealership.
I know. So I had that same face with him.
This is why nobody shops there.
So my face gets all like scrunchy. I'm like, huh? Like an appointment to like, we said, don't do the work. We're going to think about it. And so, but the guy at the dealer was saying, well, they might be in the middle of something. And I'm like, in the middle of what? Because I didn't approve anything. And so, well, they said, well, there was also some recalls, because there's always some kind of recall. There's lights or batteries or airbags or whatever. And so, but that's why we didn't there in the first place. We knew there was a recall, and we were like, we'll just get that knocked out too. Okay. So, but they didn't tell us they were going to do that, and we didn't approve them to do that, I guess. We, were definitely on a pause to think about the big thing. And so, he was like, well, I've got to check and see, if it's like in the middle of this recall repair or whatever. And I'm like, why would it be in the middle of the repair? 3 days later, right now, what are the odds that they've decided to start it like 10 minutes ago and they have my parts of the van all over the floor of the mechanic shop? Like, what are the odds? And he said, well, I'll have to check. He said, why don't you guys go just sit in the waiting room and just wait about an hour or so, because you're supposed to make an appointment, and as soon as we get a chance, we'll check on it for you. And I was like, we got to wait an hour because we didn't have an appointment and because there's a chance that it might be somehow in pieces on your floor of your shop, even though we really haven't approved any work. So I was really upset. And so I very strongly asked him to go check. I said, you just need to go check. And we went through this whole back and forth thing of him telling me to go sit and wait for an hour while he did some paperwork and checked on some things. And I said, you can just go check right now. You can like just walk over there into your little shop that's like right through that door. And if you see the Game Over van in there and little parts on the floor, you come back and let me know. Like, this will take you 5 minutes to do this. And if not, then you can just bring me my keys and we can just be on our way. Like, this is not I need an appointment. This is not it's going to take an hour for you to look into it. And it's not we got to do some paperwork. It's like
go look.
You have the van.
Use your eyes.
I'm here to get the keys and take it somewhere else. All I want is the keys in the van, and I'm out of here. So after several like back and forth, like we're just not communicating, the same language or something. I don't know. But I finally, I think, was rude enough that he went to check. And
And lo and behold, the van was fine and ready to go. So
Because of course it was.
because they hadn't done anything,
Lord.
he was just so peeved that I didn't make an appointment that he was going to make me wait and probably tell them to go ahead and do the recall while I was there. That's why he wanted me to wait the hour, I bet, because he was going to go ahead and knock that out. And I said I'll bring it, or I'll take it to a different dealer, but I'll get the recall stuff done. But I'll do that some other time. I need to take it somewhere else now. And like I had another person with me because I had to, when you go pick up a vehicle, you got to have like the ride to get there. So it's like me and another guy from Game Over, and we're standing there. We're taking time out of our day to come get it, and then. Basically they wanted us to make an appointment and sit there for an hour and wait and then get our keys and take it somewhere else. And that was just not happening.
Bananas.
Totally bananas. Yes.
I thought you were gonna say they did the catalytic converter job.
No, I'm glad they didn't, because I would have raised hell if they had done that and just said, oh, well, it's already done now. $4,000, please. I did not say, yes, I actually literally said, we're going to have to think about it. Don't do it. That's what we said.
Yeah.
So finally,
Nobody wants to see pissed off David.
No, I mean, I'm very nice, I think, most of the time. 95% of the time, I am totally nice. But if you get on my bad 5%, like there's no way, because I will reason and argue it to the point that it just, like I said, I was explaining to this guy how he could basically not make the appointment, not make us wait, not do any paperwork. If he just physically would take 2 seconds to just stand from behind his counter, walk in the door, hey guys, y'all have that Game Over van back there? Someone's here to pick it up. Can I have the keys? Sweet. Okay, and then he walks back over here. It would take like 2 minutes. And that's it. But now it's like, he had to get me all upset. Now it's like I'm not wanting to take it to that dealer for anything. And so it's like you lose a customer, and I think we literally bought this van there, like brand new, 8 years ago or whatever. But I mean, it was just horrible customer service. Yeah, it was pretty bad. And there was a lady. They have like multiple little stations, for the reps there. And the lady at the booth next to him, after he went finally to go check, like after I harassed him enough that he went to go check, she's like, I'm really sorry about him. Like he just wasn't, like, you guys just weren't connecting. And because she could just see it all going back and forth, and him just saying, I need an appointment, and me saying, but you can just go check now, can't you? And she's just like, I was just watching you two, and like you weren't able to connect.
You were speaking Japanese and Spanish.
Yes. Yeah. And it was crazy. And so she was nice. So props to her. I don't know her name, but she was very friendly and very apologetic of the situation. And, because really, I mean, all of us that have businesses, all of us that are in retail, that are in customer service of any kind, you work at a restaurant, you work at a fast food place, you work at a store like Game Over, whatever. I mean, oftentimes the customer is wrong, right? Oftentimes. But you're not supposed to treat them that way. You're supposed to treat them like the customer is right. And even when they're wrong, you're supposed to be nice to them and try and find some kind of middle ground, like, well, it is past our return policy, but I can go ahead and make maybe an exception for you, or we can, do like an exchange instead of a return, or like we can reach out and help you somehow. You try and come together somehow, in the name of customer service and, preserving business and saving a customer that might otherwise leave your business. But this guy knew none of that and had none of those skills or desires. So anyway, so she almost saved it, but probably didn't, because unless I could know that I'm going to get served, by her, I'd be just afraid of seeing that guy again going back there, because that was just torture. It was torture dealing with that guy. So anyway, so we picked up the van. So we took it to NTB, which is apparently now National Tire, Batteries, Oil Changes, and Catalytic Converters. But the guy there, I'm gonna give him a shout out, because like this was really cool. So the manager's name is Alan. This is the NTB at 183 in Lamar, like North Austin. It's right by the main Game Over store in town. So he was super cool. He was saying it'd be about $1,600 or whatever. Took it in there. He even told me that there's a front and a back, like front and rear catalytic converters. And apparently on ours, they'd only taken the front one, I guess. I don't know why, but they took the front one. And so
So I guess the dealer was just assuming they had the front and the back and the muffler, and they were just going to replace everything on the bottom of the car, regardless if it was stolen or not, or needed or not. Maybe that's why their bid was so high. I don't know, but he was like, "I'll just fix what's broke, but not the other stuff." And so he did a great job, and now it runs fine, sounds great, and it even came in less than that. It was like $1,400. So shout out to Alan and the crew at NTB in North Austin. I've been using them for like oil changes and tires and stuff, over the years, and so now I will go there anytime first, just to at least see if they can fix whatever's wrong with the car. So props to them. Thank you very much for your help in getting us out of that crazy situation. But yeah, so that's it. So the boss battle on the van is now officially over. The van is back and working fine. It purrs like a little kitten, and just everything is good now. So thank goodness, and that is my tale of woe for the day. So now let's go on to the bonus level fan feedback and wrap up the show. And we're back with the bonus level fan feedback. A lot of great feedback this week, so thank you very much for commenting. Again, nobody found out the flaw in my Super Bowl lineup, but we did have finally some winners to the mystery game, the game manual game from the past couple of weeks. That first we read 3 games that nobody could figure out. Then we read one with very few clues, left out. And finally, we had 2 people get it. So I'm gonna pull the game out here. So the game was Karnov on NES. It is a large, shirtless, middle-aged, bald guy that throws fireballs. Former circus performer. I've got a boxed copy here, which is actually in very beautiful shape. But very cool game. A lot of fun. Kind of under the radar. A lot of people don't know it very well. But anyway, we did have 2 people get it right. The first one, the official winner, is Chris Vera. So thank you, Chris, for watching the show and commenting and getting that correct. And so now I'd like to give you your prize. So, attention, ladies and gentlemen, retro gamers and gamers of all kinds around the world. I have this special announcement for you. It has been reported today that it is official. Chris Vera is a badass. He's a badass. There's no question, he's a badass. And I approve this message as CEO of Game Over Video Games. He is a badass. He was the first one to get it, so congrats, Chris. Second place was Larry Garcia, our good buddy Larry. You're a little slow, though, a little slow. So Chris beat you. But I will say, Larry, my friend, you're pretty cool, too. You're not a badass, but you're pretty cool. So good job on being number 2. So maybe next time. So I'll try and do games like that from time to time and have things that you can, either email in or message in, answers to or try and win prizes and stuff. But for this one, it was just the verbal recognition to our global and massive and growing rapidly audience of knowing that you're a badass. So congrats, Chris. You're a badass. All right. Let's see. Also, Chris had some questions too. So more fan feedback from Chris. So he was wondering if we started in Washington or Texas. And I think we covered that earlier on the show, didn't we? I guess maybe kind of in our origin story. But yeah, so this location where I filmed this show is the North Austin Game Over Video Games store. That was the first Game Over location. So it started in Austin, Texas, grew from there, around Austin, and then to San Antonio, and then Houston, then Dallas, and then out to Washington. So maybe someday nationwide, who knows? But right now, Texas and Washington stores started in Texas, expand into Washington. So that's kind of the story on that. He was sorry to hear about all the catalytic converter issues on the car, and so yeah, thank you for your for your sharing our pain on that, because it was pretty torturous. And so he was also wondering, how that affects Game Over, and I mean, luckily it's like
ended up being not that bad. I mean, $1,400 for a car repair. I mean, it sucks, but it's not going to like bankrupt us or anything. It just sucks. But life goes on, and Game Over goes on, and we still, purchase the same amount of stuff, spend the same amount of money, and so we're always, looking for cool new products, and we'll continue to do so. And so yeah, nothing, just a little road bump on the road of life, but or speed bump on the road of life. But we're moving forward. Gameplay Lick, they comment all the time and tell me how awesome the videos are. So thank you for watching. So got some feedback from them. Also somebody, let's see, Topaz San Felipe said he was glad to see me getting some game time in. So he liked seeing me play Karnov last week. So thank you. Yeah, I like that too. This literally is now the only time I get to play video games, is when I occasionally do them on this show. So yeah, Dan will help me from time to time to squeeze in some gameplay time for me on the show, because that's all I've got. That's all I've got, people. But thank you for that feedback. Also, in-person feedback, not even social media. But I was down in Houston again this week, and I met a cool guy named Rodney at the H2 store, which is the Houston store in Webster, down kind of by NASA, like towards Galveston in the south part of Houston. And he's been a customer for years, and we got to talking, and seems like a really nice guy. And he was in there for the Valentine's sale on Monday, buying some stuff. And he just said he'd been a customer for a long time. He was telling me about he had a big game collection that got lost in Hurricane Harvey. A lot of people in like South Texas and Louisiana have, there have been some massive storms in the past few years, and a lot of people have lost a lot of stuff. And so it was cool to meet him, and he's now rebuilding the collection, slowly but surely. That's all you can do when stuff like that happens. You get just totally like just kind of destroyed in one way, and then but that kind of stuff, it ultimately makes you stronger, and you just gotta pick yourself up and just let's get started rebuilding. And so he's just moving on. But really cool guy, so good to meet him. So it's always fun when when I'm out like at a store, and people recognize me as the CEO, or as an employee or whatever, because normally I just show up like when I met him, I think I was literally like wearing like jeans and a hoodie. I couldn't look more like just your average like Uber driver, delivery driver guy. But it's just that's just what I do. I bring stuff to the stores, and Tian and I both we'll bring things down there, and a lot of our job is when we're visiting stores, it's just like unloading a truck or unloading the van, loading it back up. We cart defective stuff off, we deliver shipments and stuff, and so it's just kind of I don't know, it's not glamorous, but it's just just work that needs to be done. And so it's always funny to me though when people recognize me, and I'm just in the store for like an hour, and they recognize me. So that's cool. But so thanks for taking the time to like point out and be like, hey, I think I know you. Like, aren't you the Game Over guy? Yeah. So that was really fun. But yeah, so I love meeting people like that. And again, if you guys are going to be in the Washington, Tacoma area in the next couple of weeks, that weekend, the 26th and 27th, I will be at Tacoma Mall at the Game Over store. Again, probably knee deep in dirt and filth and dust and moving fixtures around and setting up the new store. But if you want a dirty handshake, I'd be be glad to meet you and chat for a while. So anyway, but that's fun. I love getting out there because I spend a lot of my life literally in this little office here, cranking out emails, paying bills, and doing the less glamorous, parts of my job. And so when I get out to a store, even if it's loading and unloading a truck, like I love it, or merchandising a new store, I relish the physical nature just to get up from a desk. I don't like sitting all day. So I like getting up, moving around, and doing stuff. So anyway, that's it for the show. So thank you guys very much for watching and listening, commenting on the podcast, sharing it with your friends, streaming, subscribing. I'm like, what are all those adjectives I need? But subscribing on YouTube is probably the easiest way to get notifications of the newest shows. So definitely do that if you haven't already. We're at, let's see, I wrote down some numbers this morning. We're at 895 subscribers on YouTube. So that's pretty good, right? Is that good?
That's great.
We haven't really done that much on YouTube outside of this show, and then we had some, like quirky commercials we did back in the day, and I put some like video footage of events at the stores on there.
Those quirky commercials, though.
Yeah, the commercials are good. The commercials are really good.
Whoever made those.
Yes. Dan was intimately involved with a lot of those. So yeah, props to Dan. He's been doing videos for us forever. But we're at 895. So I decided that I want to make it my goal to try and get us to 1,000. So let's try and do that, at least by the end of this year. Surely in 10 months we can get 100 people to subscribe, right? If every one of us, there's like 100 people, if every one of us tells a friend, we'll get there. So if you haven't already subscribed, tell a friend to subscribe. Check out the show. We try and make it interesting, and we're always open to feedback. If you want to comment on the streams, or if you want to email me directly, you can do podcast@gameovervideogames.com. Send me an idea for the show, something you'd like me to do or me to talk about on the show, and I'm happy to take those ideas and run with them and try and make something out of it on the show. So definitely, the feedback is appreciated. Thanks for your business and support in the stores. We need that, just every day, every week, in every store. Just keep it coming. We can't tell you how much that we appreciate it, especially in these past few years where, sales literally went down to zero, 2 years ago, and we've been building up ever since. And so, we're grateful for each and every customer we have. So I hope you all have a great week. Thank you again for watching the show, and we'll see you next time. Game over. Hey there, Retro Gamers. David here with one quick announcement to add to the show. I forgot to mention this on the actual podcast today, but we're not going to have a show next week. I'm sorry. We're going to have to miss that week because...
I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Dan's fault.
My fault.
No, it's not his fault, really. But because we're going to Washington, we realized that I'm actually going to be gone from Wednesday on in Washington, and so we won't be able to even be here to film a show. Sorry about that, to miss that show, but the following week we'll have all kinds of cool footage from what I record in Washington to be on the feature segment, so you can see that store and the move and all that. So sorry about missing the show next week. Just watch some of the old episodes and reminisce about those good times we had on the previous
Remember when
shows.
we had a show?
Remember back in the day?
Remember that?
Oh,
Wow.
wasn't that nice?
So fun.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we got to finish wrapping up here and get down to actual work stuff that I have to do today.
Work.
I know. I have other stuff to do
Gotta
today.
sling some carts.
Yeah. Got to be slinging me some games, making that money. All right. Hope you guys have a great week. I will see you soon. Thanks. Bye.